we're looking at $1 trillion+ that have been invested over the past 18 months in the ecosystem. And then you're seeing massive returns from NVIDIA, Broadcom recently, and the semiconductor universe. And what that's having the effect of is creating new opportunities, and it's redefining what growth looks like for companies. So one area where we're pretty heavily engaged and we're seeing a lot of opportunity and we're seeing a lot of action is in power optimization and distributed energy resource management, DERM, virtual power plants. How do you effectively draw power, AC power, from multiple sources, and then control that and deliver it back to the grid? Grid integration, so looking at alternative energy, primarily solar, primarily wind, but also think about biofuels. How do you integrate those resources, which are continuously generating energy? How do you allocate that across the grid? Even all the way down to grid re-architecture. So using carbon fiber transmission lines to shorten or to maximize the efficacy and eliminate some of the costs associated with step-up transformers. We're starting to get into a lot of that consulting. Sensor-based geospatial analysis. So rather than just managing and plotting your network on a map, using sensors at intervals to intuit what assets are deployed in the field. There's a lot of really exciting evolution innovation that's happening right now. And that power space, power management is absolutely an area where we're probably seeing the most demand, and we're seeing a lot of progressive, innovative thinking, but it's also a very early stage market. And it's all being driven by this massive investment in the AI ecosystem. These NVIDIA GPUs are known, and this was a Goldman Sachs report, are known to drive 7 times more power consumption than a traditional full stack in a data center. So where's that power going to come from? Micro generation now becomes a theme. We're talking about nuclear powered data centers, micro nuclear powered data centers. I know, Blake, you've pointed out another example of a really innovative company using nuclear fission, liquid-based nuclear fission.
Yeah, Thorcon, modular nuclear power plants fueled by, it's called molten salt. This company can build you a nuclear reactor power generator, like a modular home, basically, ship it to you in pieces, set it up, and then it runs on molten salt, which apparently is a lot safer. Unlike traditional nuclear power, it's a delicate balance between different items that keep it in check and keep it from just going haywire and turning into Chernobyl. The molten salt reactors, if you don't continue feeding it the salt fuel, apparently it will just die out on its own. So it's a lot safer, although you do have to deal with the waste product that's going to be radioactive for years, billion years or whatever. It's still safer, and they can build it and ship it to you. It's crazy.
It is. So first, with their technology, you don't need to hire Homer Simpson to run the plant. So there's no personnel associated with the operations, which is both incredible and scary to me, at least to some extent. But even what you mentioned with, so when you look at the supply chain for distribution of hazardous waste, it's creating new industry, new opportunity, and new ways to think about how do we get modular-based radioactive waste out of a designated area. Well, we comply with all local regulations in the jurisdictions that we cross, and ultimately, how do we dispose or reprovision that waste? Obviously, there's an existing industry, but this is a new challenge that's being presented to an existing industry, which creates some room for innovation. That's why I'm really bullish. I think we're seeing quite a lot of this innovation, R&D, research translate into new and progressive concepts all around modernization of a 19th, 20th century infrastructure that served us well, but isn't going to serve us in the future. So there's a lot that's happening. And what I think we're going to see in tech is a reprovision of some of those knowledge assets and some of the knowledge and capabilities and human capital that's been working on building really excellent software and high performing software. We're going to see a reallocation into a higher growth ecosystem over the course of the next 5 to maybe 10 years.